Well, we will do in just a moment. Stephen Hutchings says, come on, Callum Eason in the trucks. Plenty of support for Callum. We'll hopefully see all 19 trucks out for this one. Hopefully, John Powell will be able to join us. He missed the opening race. It's a very new DAF XB that he's got. He's only just taken delivery of the DAF, the Racing Division 2 champion. Just waiting for the car of Aidan Mitchell to be loaded down there. You can see the recovery truck at the top of your picture at the outside of Surtees Bend. You can see to the left of that the little hill there where the rallycross circuit used to run. But anyway, here's the grid for our second truck race of the day. It was again very close in qualifying. It's a couple of tenths of a second covering the top three on second fastest times. Ryan Smith once again in pole position, but he's explained that the power deficiency from the air restrictor is off the rolling start. So we'll see if he can make the start once again. Stuart Oliver starts alongside him. Second row, David Jenkins and Michael Oliver. No grid penalty for him this time. That was just for race one. Martin Gibson on row 3 alongside John Bowler. Then Stephen Powell on row 4 alongside his teammate Neil Yates. David Smith and Tom O'Rourke, hopefully he's reattached his front bodywork, completing the top 10. And then behind them, we will see Adam Bint and Simon Cole. First the Division 2 truck, Simon Cole. Row 7, Jake Evans, fresh from his first Division 2 win in his first ever truck race alongside Bradley Harvey. Row 8, Sami Oyanen and Archie Handy. On the 9th row, it is Graham Poole and Callum Eason, and hopefully John Powell will go from the pit lane. It's the provisional way they'll line up for our second truck race of the weekend. Another 3 coming up tomorrow, of course. We've got 3 more races to go after this. After the trucks, we will go back in time to the 1960s. The Classic Touring Car Racing Club Everard's pre-66 touring cars. We've got Ford Mustangs and Falcons, Anglias, Lotus Cortinas, Minis, lots of Hillman Imps as well. A couple of Mark II Jaguars, a very special grid indeed there. That's followed by the only race this weekend for the Mubob Caterham Academy Championship. And then we close off the day with the Classic Touring Car Racing Club Pre-83 Group 1 touring cars, sponsored by Shell Oils. I can tell you Jonathan Corker's little Datsun 510 has taken pole position for that one. Third quickest in qualifying for them was Tom Harvey's Mark 1 Escort, but that unfortunately had an accident later in the session. It remains to be seen whether that car will be on the grid. It went into the tyres at Clearways. Tom is okay, but the car with quite a bit of damage. That's all coming up later on, though, as we get ready for our second truck race of the weekend. Second of 5. We're joined, of course, tomorrow by the Track Action Racing Club as well. Don't miss their brand of saloon car racing. A whole mixture of different saloons of all shapes and sizes on their grid. Ryan Smith looking to make it 2 out of 2 in Division 1. Jake Evans likewise in Division 2. Conditions improving here at Brands Hatch, has to be said. The sun now, it's still pretty windy, we can see from the trees. The trucks, I think, are on the move in the paddock. I can just see them down there from my commentary position, see the roofs of the race trucks on the move, so they are heading out now onto circuits. Big hello to Nathan Shaw, Hannah Fulcher as well. And if Hannah's a relation of Andrew Fulcher, he used to race trucks and Alfa Romeos as well. Perrin Osborne is cheering on Stuart Oliver, Ethan Dance cheering for Ryan Smith. As I say, hopefully we'll see all 19 trucks for this one. As Hannah is Andrew Fulcher's daughter. Hopefully we'll see Andrew racing trucks again someday. He's raced Alfa Romeos as well in the past. I think it was him who had the Filippo Berio olive oil sponsored Alfa Romeo. Various attractions trackside, as we've, I'm sure that'd be truck side, as we've already seen on our cameras today. We've got the monster trucks in action, some fairground rides, some show trucks as well. Sure, plenty of Easter chocolate available as well. Full day of racing coming up tomorrow at Brands Hatch. We begin at around 10:25, our first race with the Classic Touring Car Racing Club. We run right the way through to programme scheduled to end just after 5:30. Waiting for the circuit to be clear. Of course, the marshals have to move back off their posts in the interests of safety. Big thanks again to our volunteer marshals. We couldn't go racing anywhere without them. There's that massive Mick Gould Commercials Peterbilt recovery truck, built to Mick's special order in the USA. I think it's nearly as big as my house, that truck. You can see it's got the big sleeping compartment for the driver as well. There's some of the show trucks. Quite an impressive number here. There always are at Brands Hatch. Many more of them at the bonfire weekend as well. And there you can see in the assembly area the pre-66 touring cars waiting for their turn next. What a mouth-watering field they've got. I can hear race trucks on their way. You can see the marshals have moved back amongst the trees. Here they come. Formed up behind a different pace truck this time, the GT Tyres MAN. Ryan Smith on pole, Stuart Oliver alongside. And Jenkins and Michael Oliver. There's Stephen Powell. May have come out of paddock there slightly out of grid order. We'll see when they're formed up. The confirmed lineup. Tom O'Rourke's back out. Missing a bit of front bodywork after that contact earlier on. And there is Adam Bing. Great to see Adam finally up in Division 1. He's been in Division 2 for many, many years now in his Volvo, the venerable Volvo White. The Volvo White, of course, that was the mainstay of truck racing back in the 1990s. Likes of Richard Walker, the late great Slim Borgard, George Allen as well, his brother Les. They ran Trucker Line, the chassis repair business based in London. I think George's son still runs that. Last Volvo White American star won to race in the championship was Brian Burke, the man from the West Country a few years ago, the pink and white machine. Similar livery to Simon Cole. So haven't seen that out for a few years now. Still got a Volvo out there, the ex-Paul McCumiskey Volvo, driven by Archie Handy. Mentioning Simon Cole, I didn't see him go through there. Is he on the screen? Ah, there he is at the back. Is that the number 6 at the back? Yes, I think that is John Powell. I think he's in a borrowed truck for this weekend. I don't think that's his new DAF. Yes, that's a DAF CF. If it goes into the pit lane, that will be, yes, it is John Powell. So that's the reason John Powell was a bit of a late starter. He switched truck into a loaned machine from the Neil Yates Recovery Alco team. So they've actually got 4 trucks out there this weekend. They've got John Powell in one of their trucks as well.
Let me just go through the grid for you. This is based on the second fastest time for the set in qualifying this morning.
John Wilkins says Truck 26 is sponsor. Reminds me of Sam Osborne's BTCC MG6 livery from a few years ago. Well, coincidentally, Sam Osborne did do a couple of truck race meetings last year, subbing for Paul Rivette in the Napa machine. So we know now what John Powell is racing, thanks to one of our commenters who updated us on that. Yes, it's a DAF CF, not the new XB that he is racing. So John Powell out there in a borrowed truck this weekend. So they're lined up. I think an amended grid sheet must have been issued here because they're not in the order that I've got written down here. So Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver on the front of the grid, then David Jenkins and Michael Oliver. Martin Gibson has got John Bowler alongside him on row 3. There must have been an amended grid issue that hasn't reached me in the commentary box here, because Stephen Powell's lining up on row 4 alongside Neil Yates. Then David Smith and Tom O'Rourke. And then we'll have Adam Bint with Simon Cole alongside him. Then it's Evans and Harvey, the 2 Division 2 newcomers. Then Sami Oyanen, Archie Handy, and Graham Poole and Callum Eason at the back, and John Powell will start from the pit lane because he missed qualifying. 15-minute race once again. Simon Cole looking to get his first points on the board in Division 2 after losing his gears and going off in race 1 at Clearways. See a bit of bodywork missing from the left front corner of his Iveco. Of course, the leading Ivecos in the championship over the last few years have been Simon and Craig Reed from Stoke-on-Trent. They've been racing on the continent over the last year or two. The Reed Freight team. John Newell we saw in this championship, the Yorkshireman for several years. He's now racing in the European Championship, as is Mark Taylor. The Taylor's haulage number 81 as it was, the MAN. And hopefully we'll have the full complement of 20 out at Pembrey. Hopefully we'll have Ricky Collins back as well. The trucks roll away. Second truck race of the weekend. John Powell waiting patiently in pit lane. Ryan Smith on pole, looking for win number 2. Jake Evans looking for his second Division 2. A couple of trucks got track limits penalties in race 1 as well, so that'll be why the grid order possibly has changed. Or no, the grid order is based on second fastest time in qualifying, so it won't affect that. It'll affect the order for race 3. Archie Handy, Tom O'Rourke and Martin Gibson all got track limits penalties. 5 seconds. So the GT Tyres pace truck leads them round then. Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver. 2 of the all-time greatest truck racers on the front row. 19 championships in Britain between them, plus a European title for Stuart Oliver. pace begins to quicken. Who's it going to be this time? Will it be Smith? Will it be Oliver? Will it be Jenkins? Will it be a new winner? Will it be Michael Oliver, perhaps? To fight back after a spin in race one after some contact at Surtees. Will it be one of our returnees, possibly Martin Gibson? Who will it be in Division 2? Simon Cole, maybe Archie Handy for a first win, one of the newcomers. Revs begin to rise. These 12 and 13 litre engines. Getting on towards 20,000 horsepower about to be unleashed from these 5-ton beasts. Smith and Stuart Oliver lead them up towards the lights. The second race of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. The power about to come on, and here we go. Down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Decent start by the front row and by David Jenkins. And it is Stuart Oliver who's gone into the lead. He's outpaced Ryan Smith into the first turn. Well, Smith could go down to third. That'll be the air restrictor working on the turbo there. He says he's got a lot less power off the line, and Ryan Smith is now going to have to make a fight of it. He's on the outside line into Druids. Everybody's making it round okay so far. And onto the grass goes Ryan Smith. He's gone out way wide. He's had some contact with Michael Oliver. Look at the front of Oliver's truck. Disaster for Ryan Smith. Well, he's now going to have to fight his way back up the order. In fact, has he kept going at all? He's dead last as they head, well, last but one as they head into Graham Hill Bend. Graham Poole behind him. They start to sort themselves out then. Let's have a look at who is leading. I think it's Stuart Oliver who will lead as they complete the opening lap. It is Oliver leading from David Jenkins. Michael Oliver's slightly battered MAN in third place as the Volvo leads the way. John Bowler is in fourth place, then Martin Gibson, Stephen Powell. Behind them is Neil Yates and Tom O'Rourke. Leading Division 2 is Simon Cole ahead of Sami Oyanen and Bradley Harvey in the yellow and white's number 96. Very similar livery to the one that Stephen Powell used to use. Meanwhile, David Jenkins is all over the back of our race leader. Suddenly, this race has been blown absolutely wide open. Adam Bint must have got caught up there as well. He's dropped back. Leaders head down into Graham Hill Bend. They're clear of Michael Oliver, who's got up to third. He's just got ahead of John Bowler. There's the two Alco-sponsored cars of Stephen Powell and Neil Yates. Behind them is O'Rourke. Leaders into Surtees. I think we've lost Adam Bint on that opening lap as well. He hasn't come through the Mercedes. Have a look again at the first lap at Druids. There's Michael Oliver and Ryan Smith making contacts. Smith went out onto the grass there, nearly through where the old rallycross course used to go through the barriers there. That's dropped him right down almost to the back of the field. That's left a clear gap for the two leaders. Stuart Oliver from David Jenkins, Volvo against MAN. Despite that bit of damage, Michael Oliver still there in third position. John Bowler up on his outside. He's running wide there further back. I think that was Neil Yates it was, but he's gathered it up again. Tom O'Rourke and David Smith behind him. David, no relation to Ryan, incidentally. And there's a gap back to Ryan Smith, who's already recovered through the Division 2 trucks. There we can see he's already back up into 11th position. Maybe 10th now. He's got ahead of Simon Cole, who's leading Division 2, so he's already through the less powerful machine. Now he's got the tougher nuts to crack in the midfield. There go the two leaders. They're trying to build up as big a lead as they can, because they know Ryan Smith is going to be trying to carve his way through this little lot further back. Up on the outside there, that is Stephen Powell attacking Martin Gibson. His teammate Neil Yates behind him. Through Paddock Hill Bend, up Halewood Rise. Michael Oliver still holding third place. John Bowler's all over him. He wants a podium here. Bowler goes a bit wide. You can hear the tyres squealing there under pressure through Druids. Gibson still there in fifth on his return this weekend, and Neil Yates and Tom O'Rourke side by side. O'Rourke going around the outside at Graham Hill Bend. Now that's a move you don't see very often. You've got the inside at Druids, then stayed to the outside at Graham Hill Bend. Oh, and John Bowler's draw coming open there. closed it. Must have. Or is he on the other side of the cab? I couldn't quite see there. Is that a left-hand drive? Number 14. The MAN. See if that door comes open again, because if it does, he might get the black and orange flag and be brought in to secure that door closed. Ryan Smith is now into the Division 1 trucks. It's past David Smith, his namesake. He's up into 9th position. Now let's see how far he can get back up the order. He's got 10.5 minutes to try and catch the leaders. Still Stuart Oliver holding off David Jenkins for the lead. And they're nearly 6 seconds clear. It's got Ryan Smith, not surprisingly, has done the fastest lap of the race, 58.662. On the tail of this little lot, next target is Neil Yates. Into 1/3 distance. There's Tom O'Rourke in his International Navistar bonneted truck. Right on the tail now of Martin Gibson. This is Stephen Powell, the local man up the outside. A little bit of damage to the rear bodywork there, so there may have already been some contact. You can see the rear wheel arch on the left is dislodged. Martin will be hoping that doesn't start rubbing against that tyre. It could cause a puncture. It's Powell to the inside now. He knows he's got the quicker truck. He just can't get the line away, and as I say that, Martin Gibson locks up and loses the position. He could lose a couple more as well. Tom O'Rourke being pushed by Neil Yates. While all this is going on, Ryan Smith will be looking on with delight. So I'm thinking, well, he'll be thinking, well, if you lot are all going to fall over each other, that means I can make up more places and more time. Racing now, Tom O'Rourke. There go the leaders. It's still Stuart Oliver in the Volvo up front. Half a second ahead of David Jenkins. They complete their 6th lap. Michael Oliver still in P3, but he's 7 seconds down, just between these two now. Although depending on whether Ryan Smith can carve his way through the rest of the field. On the back of that group still. That's the treble 3 there. Graham Poole has been lapped. He's learning his craft on his truck racing debut. The LKQ digraph Morris Lubricants MAN chasing hard. The replay of that first lap again. We see Ryan Smith being pushed wide, great cloud of dust as Michael Oliver made the contact. Just say that incident is under investigation by the stewards on our timing screen. John Bowler's been given the black and white flag as well. Possible exceeding of track limits. Further back in the order, there's Archie Handy. He's going to be running 5th in Division 2, which is being led by Simon Cole, ahead of Jake Evans, our Race 1 winner. Sammy Oyanen is 3rd. Meanwhile, Ryan Smith about to make up another place. He's got past Tom O'Rourke. He's past Martin Gibson as well. You can see damage on the right-hand side of Gibson there, so there's been some more contact somewhere. Next target for Ryan is Stephen Powell. That means Ryan is up into P6 now. Neil Yates. There's been a bit of push and shove involving him as well. There's a bit of damage to Neil's truck. We seem to have lost Callum Insom somewhere. He didn't come through on the last lap. Adam Bittens is still going, but he's a couple of laps behind. So he must have... He hasn't been into the pits according to the timing screen, so he stopped somewhere and then got going again. You can see it's happened though. Leaders are coming up to lap. Archie Handy in the number 40. To Druids. David Jenkins unable to do anything about Stuart Oliver ahead of him, only half a second separating them. Meanwhile, Martin Gibson going toe-to-toe with Neil Yates. This is for P8. They've got David Smith on their tails. They're still side by side out of Graham Hill Bend. Out on the curb goes Neil Yates, gets his boot down and pulls ahead of Martin Gibson. I wonder whether Martin got some damage there because he's dropping back down the order. Stephen Powell could be about to lose a place here with Smith on his tail. Ryan to the inside. Said earlier after race one, it's okay when once the revs are up and the truck is using its power to its full potential, but on lower revs, like at the start of the race, it hasn't got the power, and we saw that off the line. That's the air restrictor doing its job of evening things up. Stephen Powell is fitted with one as well. Oh, we've got a tangle there. That's Graham Poole. He's tangled with Adam Binns, and Poole's stuck right in the middle of the track at Surtees Bend. Now, if he can't get the truck going again, that will be a stoppage, surely. Let's hope the leaders see that and are able to get through. Meantime, Ryan Smith is out to fifth. He's ahead of Stephen Powell. He's closing on John Bowler. But if that truck is still there at Surtees, the race will have to be stopped. He's trying to get it out of the way, but the red flag is going to have to come out. Stephen Powell close there. Yeah, they can't continue with a truck that's sat there on the edge of the circuit. Graham Poole eventually does get going again. The red flag had to come out there straight away in the interest of safety. They could not keep racing with the truck stranded on the tarmac there. So the race brought to a temporary halt. There was just over 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes 15 left on the clock. We'll wait to see what the officials decide here. There's John Powell, who was still circulating in 17th place. Callum Eason had got going as well, so there's a couple of trucks registering as a few laps down. I thought they'd dropped out of the race, they've just dropped a few laps back. Whether it's timing error, transponder error or something else, I'm not sure. Race brought to a halt, and we will await advice on what's going to happen here. The hazard has cleared because Graham Poole's got going again. I assume the leaders are going to be lined up on the grid for a sprint for the line, as we saw in race one. Where is Stuart Oliver? I think that's him coming into clearways now. Have a look back at one or two of the salient moments of that race so far. There's the contact early on again between Michael Oliver and Ryan Smith, which put Ryan to the back of the field, gave him a face full of dust as well. He's been fighting his way back up the order, was in 5th place at the time of the stoppage. There's an incident we didn't see before. It's Bradley Harvey taking a spin at Druids, everybody avoiding him to the outside. Simon Cole set the early pace in Division 2 in the Iveco. Ryan Smith carved his way back up the order. He's got the fastest lap of the race, 58.662. There's the incident that brought out the red flag. Graham Poole spinning to a halt. Trucks going off to avoid him. So the lead trucks now coming round to the grid. We'll await to be told if there is going to be a restart of any length. Well, they're being lined up on the grid. The timing screen at the moment has gone back to the full 15 minutes, but with only just over 5 minutes left on the clock, I don't think it'll be a full 15-minute restart. Just awaiting advice from the officials at the moment. Adrian Watson is the MS UK steward for the trucks today, along with event stewards Mike Sterney and Brian Hemmings. Bob Lentel and Dorothy Iwota are the clerks of the course, so they'll be making the decisions at the moment. under the red flags here at Brands Hatch for the second time today. Quick loads of one of our commenters, Ludicrous Bacon. Good name that, as we said earlier. Watching from, I believe, up at Druids today and watching the live stream at the same time. Mentioning bacon, we've got James Dunkley out in the Pre-83 touring cars later on. His speciality is bacon from his food business. He'll be in his Ford Fiesta. Thanks again to all the partner sponsors of the championship this year. Napa Auto Parts UK, GT Tyres, Neil Yates Recovery, MV Commercial. Sir Tom O'Rourke, of course, his business. Total Care Vehicle Lifts and Testing Equipment, Sylvie Fleet Management, BWOC Fuels, suppliers of the sustainable fuel for the championship, Transport Monitoring Solutions, Truck and Driver Magazine, Freyhav Trailers, Valvoline Oils and LTS Global Solutions for Logistics. I believe we're going to have a 5-minute restart. Yes, 5 minutes as we saw earlier, as you were with race 1. Quick hello to Captain Hawkeye. Hubnuts watching as well, well-known motoring YouTuber. Thanks for looking in. Paul Maxey as well. Hello to Ivy. And all our other commenters today. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. We've got over 400 likes so far. See if we can get 500 likes by the end of today. Over 1,500 viewers as well. Ludicrous Bacon says he's moved now. He's at Druids earlier. He's at Surtees now. He's over just in front of that bit of the rallycross course you mentioned. It was known Hoppy's Drop on the rallycross course because the circuit used to drop down back onto the tarmac there, named after Trevor Hopkins, the former British rallycross champion. Thanks to our director who just bought us a cup of tea here in the commentary box as well. As we await the trucks to be lined up for the restart. Just getting a quick update on the reason for my slight confusion over the grid lineup at the initial start of this race. A couple of drivers got penalties. Neil Yates was given a 2-place grid penalty, and Tom O'Rourke was as well. They were both given 2-place grid penalties for contact, so that's why the grid was slightly different. We hadn't had notification of those penalties come through, so apologies for the confusion at the start of the race over the grid lineup. We're just waiting for the lineup to be confirmed here, because the trucks will be lined up on the grid, ready for a rolling restart. So apologies for the slight delay, and apologies for my slight confusion with the initial running of this race. I hadn't had notification of those penalties from race 1 come through to us in the box. Big hello to Sean Taylor, seen him at the truck shows at Donington, Convoy in the Park among others in the past. Right, to Mike Fordham watching in Devon. Right, to Gary Vine cheering on Team WDE. They're running Callum Eason.
Apparently they won't run you over. They won't run me over.
I hear pointy, so let's head down to the grid at the moment.
When I like them, you know what I mean? Are we on, John? Welcome. So yes, beautiful weather, a little bit windy down here on the re-grid at Brands Hatch. As you can see in the background, we are waiting with bated breath to see where they're actually going to end up. Now, rules usually go on a red flag that a result or grid is based on the full lap before the red flag happened. So the one that they've just brought down obviously was incorrect. So they've ran back and they're going to run back with a new one. Once we've done that, I believe, looking up at the clock, we've currently got 5 minutes left on that race because we were only 65% completed when the red flag came out, and as we all know, usually it's a minimum 75% of race until they can call it a completed race. So let's have a look. Stuart Oliver at the front, I do believe should stay at the front. Very, very good start for him. Extremely quick, flying past Ryan Smith there on the first lap. But of course, Dave Jenkins has literally been nipping at his heels the entire race so far. What are we going to see from him on this restart? Because everybody loves a restart. It's great, we get more racing, we get to finish what we started, but the drivers have different opinions. So here comes Stuart Oliver then, and let's have a look if we can see any damage on any of these trucks as they come past, as I do believe we had a bit of slap and tickle in that second race before it got red flagged. So Dave Jenkins on the outside, then going into Paddock Hill Bend in second position. So it really will be a clash of the titans. Stuart Oliver, Dave Jenkins. Dave Jenkins I spoke to earlier on, and he was adamant that this is his year. He's fed up of being in second place, and he wants to make it stick this year. Bit of impact damage there on the front corner of Michael Oliver in the number 12. Very, very good year for him in 24, so let's see if he can make it stick this year again. Lots of scuffs on Steve Powell there in the number 3. New truck for Steve Powell this year. Evidently, we've heard of him behind the scenes. There are a few teething issues, but it's always the case with new trucks. And the 86 truck you can see now, Tom O'Rourke. If you follow us over on the official BTRC Instagram, we did a story last night with Tom O'Rourke's truck in pieces. The engine, we believe, had issues with the coolant hoses, and that had him changing an entire engine last night after missing the session 2 of practice. So big start to the year for the team at MV Commercials, number 86. Of course, Tom O'Rourke having access to quite some gear anyway, so that's good for him. 33, Mr. Neil Yates. Again, he certainly found his way into some situations so far this weekend. A frequent drinker, of course, at the Portobello Inn, where it all began, the story, the legend. And oh my gosh, look at this over here. Martin Gibson, GT Tyres, he's really ended up in some bad situations. Now, a lot of this is just fiberglass. Doesn't look to be any structural damage, it is just the fiberglass panels, but these aren't cheap, ladies and gentlemen. But luckily no physical damage to the truck itself. We can see inside it's all on this kind of square section and tubing bolted to the main chassis. But let's just quickly look around the back here, because this is usually the kind of thing that scrutineers will be looking at to make sure that we've got no issues with damage to the tyres, damage to the rims. There's obviously been an impact here, but again, this will most likely get bent back out when we go down. Again, this is last race for today for the trucks, so they'll have plenty of time to put right any wrongs. Let's have a look at Dave Smith then in the number 11. Looking pretty good for Dave Smith. Little bit of rubbing. Again, just fiberglass damage, nothing too major, and they do say rubbing is racing. But unfortunately, when it comes to the trucks, rubbing isn't as gentle as you'd see in some other motorsport, ladies and gentlemen, not at all. So here's a new one. Sammy O'Yannon, I believe that's, I'm pronouncing that correctly. In a Sisu, you might have seen this kind of truck earlier in the BTRC story, being piloted by Mika Mäkinen, but Sammy's over here with the Mad Croc energy drink, and I believe I'm being told he's here for the entire season, which will be fantastic, a great addition coming over from the FIA to show us how they do it. Interesting back end on this as well, like it really stands out. Interesting look to it. There's no other truck on the circuit that looks like this Sisu, especially with these rear fenders. They just look great, don't they? Absolutely brilliant. I am currently not running on Mad Croc energy drink, but I might well be by the end of the season. So over here then, Archie Handy, behind of course Father Simon Cole. Gearbox issues in the first race, the Simon sent him off. That was the first red flag of the weekend. But as you can see, great lap times for Division 2 and leading Division 2 pack, I believe, with Sammy nipping at his tails. I don't know whether you've seen the video already or not, but brand new truck built from the ground up by Adam Bint and his family. And I do mean family, as they've been working on that for quite some time now. As we see on the back, a wonderful memorial for the late Steve Miller, of course, from Apollo Tyres. It was instrumental in bringing us so many teams to the British Truck Racing, and we're being told to get off the grid. So here we go. At last we've been gridded. Whoa! Back into the pit lane. His mirror, he needs something. Hello, he needs something. He needs something. They won't let me in. They won't let me in. He needs, hello, he needs something. No, he's calling someone over. Oh, whatever, never mind. Anyway, there we go. Right, I think it's time to go racing. John Powell seems to be in a bit of distress there, so I'm going to hand back over to Dave Goddard up in the commentary box. Sorry about that. Communication.
Well, thanks Pointy, yes, for the live updates down on the grid. The grid is now moving away for this 5 minutes restarts. Not sure what the problem was there that John Powell was signalling just alongside where Pointy was, but he's got going. Adam Bint struggling away there in the Mercedes. So maybe he's still suffering a few teething issues. So that is a brand new build. And it looks like it is struggling there. What has happened to Adam Bint? Let's hope we don't see another aborted start. Let's hope he can get this truck going. Was it overheated there? Seems to have got away now, so he may be starting from the rear of the grid, if at all. Seems to be struggling to keep it going there at low revs. We are getting ready, hopefully, for a restart, unless Adam Bint... Can he pull it into the escape road there on the outside? Because if that truck is there, the start will be aborted. He's not trying to pull it off to one side here. And of course, it's a rolling start. The last thing the trucks will want to encounter is a slower truck in front of them heading through paddock. So the start, if Adam Bint can't get up to speed, the start may have to be aborted. He's pulling it out. Sensible option there, pulling it off onto the grass. So 5 minutes for the restart, then hopefully we'll get underway as they come round towards the conclusion of this rolling lap. Stuart Oliver and David Jenkins at the front of the pack. Then we've got Michael Oliver, John Bowler, Ryan Smith on the outside of row 3, alongside Stephen Powell. So Rourke, Gibson, Yates, David Smith, then Cole, Oyanen, Handy, Evans, Poole, Harvey and Eason. That's your lineup. Didn't see John Powell there, so he may have pulled off somewhere as well. The pace truck is into pit road. It's another 5-minute dash for the line in the British Truck Racing Championship here at Brands Hatch. John Powell is there towards the back. There's one truck coming into the pit lane at the rear of the field as we get back underway. I think it's Graham Poole that may have pulled in there. But we are away into Paddock Hill Bend. Stuart Oliver gets away well, so does Jenkins. Watch for Ryan Smith around the outside in the number 1 once he gets up to full power. Stuart Oliver covers the inside. David Smith kicks up a bit of gravel there in the number 11. Jenkins in second place, side by side with her between Michael Oliver and Bowler. Bowler gets taken out wide. There wasn't room there on the outside. It's going to allow Stephen Powell up alongside. Ryan Smith will dive for the inside of Stephen Powell into Graham Hill Bend. Simon Cole leading Division 2 in the number 41, looking for his first win for Adivico. Remember, he went winless through last year. It was Graham Poole who pulled into the pits. I think he has now got going again. We've lost Adam Bint, as we saw in the Mercedes. They charge their way through Surtees, McLaren and Clearways. There's Division 2 runners, bit of dust being kicked up. It's Oliver that leads, Stuart Oliver from Jenkins, Michael Oliver, son of Stuart, in third place. Then it's Bowler, Ryan Smith in 5th position. Now that stoppage, of course, was exactly what he wanted, because it wiped out the advantage of the top 2, reset everything. As up the inside goes Tom O'Rourke, but there was a yellow light flashing there at Paddock Hill Bend. Now Tom O'Rourke got a penalty in qualifying for overtaking under a yellow, so whether he's just passed Stephen Powell under the yellows, he may be penalised again. It's the battle for 6th position between these two. Behind them, Neil Yates and David Smith. Martin Gibson is next in that rather battered number 101. Through Surtees and McLaren. Simon Cole in the background there. The pink and white truck still leads Division 2 ahead of Sami Oyanen. John Powell is behind them. I think that's a Division 1 truck. He has switched trucks, so I'm not 100% sure. I believe he's Division 1. Down the outside goes Flying Ryan. There's a bit of smoke from Tom O'Rourke's truck there as they went across the line. The lead gap is less than a second, and Simon Cole's off again, exactly the same place as he went off in the first race. That's lost him the lead of Division 2. So who's leading Division 2? It's Sami Oyanen now in the Sisu. Here comes Flying Ryan. He's on the tail of the number 14 of John Bowler now for P4. With 2.5 minutes on the clock, he might run out of time to catch these two, Oliver and Jenkins, for the front of the field. John Bowler holding him off nicely. Simon Cole has rejoined. He's still going further down the order. Ryan Smith to the inside on John Bowler. He goes through the Clearways. They're side by side. They'll have a tighter line into the Sir Jack Brabham straights. Move up to then have a go at Michael Oliver to try and get onto the podium. Michael Oliver is a tough customer though, he's had several wins over the years, learning from his famous father. But there's a slower truck in front, that is Graham Poole being lapped. It's his spin that brought out the red flags earlier on. He's keeping to the inside there, allowing the quicker traffic to go through on the outside. Michael Oliver able to hold third place, Ryan Smith on his tail. John Bowler closing back up as well, and Tom O'Rourke's coming through into P6 ahead of Stephen Powell. 90 seconds left on the clock. Michael Oliver determined to hang on to this podium place. His father Stewart is holding off David Jenkins for the lead. They've gone clear once again. Ryan Smith dodging about on the tail of Michael Oliver. He's going to go for the inside at McLaren once again, I think. No, Michael Oliver positions his truck on the inside. There's contact between the two of them. That's nearly dislodged Smith's bumper. And not get up alongside that MAN. Great stuff. Good defensive driving by Michael Oliver. Moves to hold the inside. Smith goes to the outside. I may get 2 more laps. See if the checkered flag does go out this time. Stuart Oliver leads the way. Running wide there, Tom O'Rourke in the background. Still this fight for third goes on. And John Bowler's not finished yet either. He's trying to get involved. Stephen Powell fighting back on Tom O'Rourke. I think we may get one more lap on this one, and Ryan Smith hits the back of Michael Oliver. He forces his way down the inside. And up into third place. Now John Bowler's going to have a go as well. Oliver over the grass there, almost on the entry to Surtees, and McLaren trying to hold off John Bowler now. Smith will be away to try and catch these two. There's 5 seconds on the clock as they come to the line. I think they'll do one more lap. Yes, they will. That's music to David Jenkins' ears, as he's got one more lap to attack and try and take his first win of the season. Can Stuart Oliver hang on? They're well clear of Ryan Smith. He's not going to catch them. To Druids for the final time. Division 2, meanwhile, is being led still by Sami Oyanen. Looks like the Finn is going to take his first win on UK soil, or UK tarmac. Along the Cooper Straight go the leaders for the last time. I don't think David Jenkins is going to do it. It's going to be the 10 times champion, the former European champion, Stuart Oliver. First meeting back with the rebuilt Volvo VNL after its smash at Crookston last season. He's going to take his first win of 2025. David Jenkins trying to close up, but he's not going to do it. They come into the Sir Jack Brabham straights for the final time, and Stuart Oliver wins race 2 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Second goes to David Jenkins. Back through the pack comes Ryan Smith to take third place. And Michael Oliver holds on for 4th ahead of John Bowler. There's O'Rourke, Stephen Powell, Neil Yates, David Smith, Martin Gibson rounds out the top 10, and in Division 2 it's going to be Sami Oyanen in the Sisu to hold off Jake Evans. Second place will put Jake provisionally into the championship lead, I think, after 2 races. There's John Powell over the line. Third in Division 2 goes to Bradley Harvey. John Powell comes over in 11th ahead of them. Side by side across the line there, looks like Archie Handy just held off Callum Eason. Graham Poole will be the final finisher a lap down. We lost Simon Cole, of course, into the pits again, and Adam Bintz pulled up on the rolling start. Congratulations, Stuart Oliver. 10 times champion holds off the threat of David Jenkins all the way. Ryan Smith charging his way through the third place. Provisional result then, 0.8 of a second, the winning margin for Stuart Oliver over David Jenkins. Change to Division 2. A penalty for Sami Oyanen. He's been given a 5-second penalty, presumably for exceeding track limits. That's only just come through. So Jake Evans will take the win in Division 2. The officials getting tough on track limits penalties this weekend. So Jake Evans, 2 out of 2 in Division 2 by the look of things, with Bradley Harvey second. Oliver the winner ahead of Jenkins and Smith. Michael Oliver fourth, holding off John Bowler. Then O'Rourke, Powell, Yates, Smith and Gibson completing the top 10. John Powell's first race of the weekend, finishing 11th. Let's head down to pit lane with Pointy.
So there we are, the last 5 minutes raced out with a vengeance. My goodness me, that last couple of minutes of that race was incredible to watch. Top three, of course, well done to Ryan Smith for taking his position third back. But I thought, you know what we need to do? We need to talk to some Div 2 drivers, because we're always talking to the Div 1s. So I'm going to head up the pit lane. Hi there, hi everyone. And we're going to speak to John Powell, who should land about here. So now bear in mind, John missed the first race of the weekend because his truck wasn't quite ready. I believe this is a loaner truck. John, first of all, I'm sorry for the hoo-ha and not being able to adjust your wing mirror. You know, that was on me. But congratulations, mate. I mean, look, here we are, first place. I mean, there was a time you didn't think you'd be racing at all this weekend, wasn't there?
Well, to be fair, literally, I've never driven it. I've never turned, I've drove it around the paddock. So, they built a really good truck, them lads. Do you know what? Awesome, they've worked there. They've worked well and so out. Neil Yates and the whole family, extraordinary people, mate, honestly. And to get the opportunity to drive it and settle it in, brilliant. Oh, just got to do them justice, didn't you? You know, so that's good enough for me. Well,
I'm sure the team will be really happy. You have definitely done them justice. And yeah, well done, buddy. I just thought I'd come and see Div 2 for a change, you know, like nice to come down, see you guys, because you're racing too, do you know what I mean? Right then, we've also heard that O'Yannon got a little time penalty, so he's dropped back into fourth now with a 5-second penalty. So yeah, so he'll be upset about that, I'm sure. But of course, Evans, and Jake Evans, and we've got Bradley as well. They'll both be chuffed about another podium this weekend.
To be fair, their driving standard's really good. You know, it's nice to mix it up with them. You know, they're new as well. Everything's new, but you know, they're driving good. They're doing well. They should be proud of themselves, really. So.
Oh, looking forward to a great bit of competition from Division 2 then. I'll hand you over. Thank you, John Powell. I had to take my earphone out. I could barely hear him, I tell you. Obviously, they don't want to be shouting at me, but I do shouting. That's how we roll, isn't it, you know? Right now, unfortunate for Sammy O'Yannon. O'Yannon got third, so 5-second penalty, that means so he's still in third position, which is good stuff. But let's just, there we go. It's just a gentle tug. That's what you got to open the doors with, a gentle tug. You heard it here first. Congratulations. How's it feel?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we a little bit of a kerfuffle there on the restart with the grid position and whatnot. So P2 on the road at the minute. We need to go up and just see actually where we were when they deduct all the penalties and the people moving around and whatnot. But no, couldn't be happier really. P1 this morning, P2 now. If it stays that way, we'll be over the moon by Sunday night, won't we?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's another trophy, second race, second trophy. Absolutely brilliant. Much to do to the truck tonight?
No, some tyres, fuel, water, probably set of front brakes and then go again tomorrow.
And dinner?
Oh, of course, dinner, yeah.
What have we got for dinner, do you know?
I think we've got an option tonight. I think we've got a lasagna and we've got a chicken curry.
Oh my God, curry or lasagna? Now that is an eclectic mix. Are you going to do, are you a little bit of both kind of guy?
50-50 that, yeah. That might be 50-50.
But here's the question, is it naan or garlic bread?
Well, it's got to be naan, hasn't it? It's got to be naan.
It's hard to know. Let us know in the comments if you're having a mixture of curry and lasagna. Do you go naan or garlic bread? Or both?
Or both, maybe.
Or, wait for it, garlic naan.